Hello, my name is David Welch, and today we're going to be discussing giving voice to values. It's a behavioral approach to solving ethical questions, and in doing so, we're going to discuss a hypothetical case where a person makes a faulty budget, and once he realizes his mistake, how he deals with that. So, quick story: Jackson Daniels works for a manufacturing firm, and has been asked to develop a budget for a particular product line, and he does a very in-depth analysis and calculates that they will experience a 25% increase in sales the following year. He provides that information to management. Management takes the appropriate course of action, which is to hire an additional 20 workers in anticipation of the extra workload. And only after they hire those 20 workers does young Jackson Daniels realize he made an error. It should have only been 12.5%. Not sure what to do. He invites his friend, also a co-worker at the plant, at the manufacturing facility, to lunch and asks his advice. Hey, what should I do? This is a pretty large error. We hired way too many people for what I think is going to be the actual increase in sales. And his friend, Johnny Walker, tells him to just not mention it to anyone. He says that people in his situation have been fired for similar errors, and he doesn't want to see that happen to his friend, and he thinks he's just better off to let it go. Well, against his advice, against Johnny Walker's advice, he goes to the production manager, the vice president of production, a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Beam, and tells Jimmy Beam, hey, I made a mistake, and we've hired too many people. I'm not sure what to do. Jimmy Beam is a little bit upset with Jackson Daniels. However, he tells him, just let it go. Sweep it under the rug. Don't mention it to anyone, and that's going to the best course of action. Well, Jackson leaves the office, and he's really at an ethical crossroads, because he knows that he's costing the company money unnecessarily. That's not really the right thing to do, but he also believes he brought it up to two people, and both of them told him to just let it go. So he really is trying to figure out what he should do. Options that he has are he can just follow the advice he received, let it go, sweep it on the rug, pretend it never happened, or he can talk to his supervisor, a gentleman by the name of Jose Cuervo, who's not the most pleasant gentleman, and explain to him the error, tell him what he did, and just hope for the best. Let management deal with that mistake, because they have the right to do. Obviously, the right choice is talk to his supervisor. If there's a potential the company could lose additional money because of that poor decision, the error, the forecast error, then they need to know that. Big arguments that go on in Jackson Daniels' head is, hey, look, projected sales are a guess anyway, so we don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of everybody makes errors. That's sort of the expected answer. The forecast wasn't off by that much in the grand scheme of things. It's not that big of an error, so maybe materiality will set in, and he'll say, hey, it's not that big a deal. And then also he could argue, well, he's new. This sort of thing happens, learn from your mistake, and it'll be fine, like an isolated incident. What's really at stake here are the 20 people, should have only been 10, so 10 of those people face the possibility of getting laid off. The vice president of production told him not to mention anyone, so if Daniels mentions it to his boss, that could cause a problem for the vice president of production, or it could cause Daniels to have a problem with production. Daniels could also be considered incompetent, and he could get fired, or he could lose his job. But the responses to those rationalizations are ethically, when an error is made, it needs to be reported. Daniels should not hold information from his supervisor. That's never a good course of action. It's always it develops mistrust. It creates an atmosphere of mistrust. It's not the right thing to do. The projection could in fact have been wrong, due to many factors that are unknown to a person at this time. So there's always that. And then there may be a course of action that management can take that could help increase sales in addition to what he had forecasted. Perhaps an increase in marketing, perhaps reallocating some of those additional 10 resources to another department on another product line. So maybe they don't necessarily need to be laid off. The real bottom line here is that the right thing for Jackson to do is approach Jose Cuervo and tell him that he made the error and allow management the opportunity to take the correct course of action. If it includes laying those people off, if it includes laying off Jack Daniels, if it includes laying off the vice president of production for telling him not to tell anyone, doesn't really matter. That's the right thing to do, and that's what he should do.